you're going to select your bird first. In addition to that, I use salt and pepper, olive oil. The herbs that I like to use are rosemary. I'm fortunate enough to have an herb garden, so I have my rosemary, fresh sage, and 2 varieties of thyme. I also use some onion and some garlic for a little extra flavor. The first thing that we're going to look for when we start with the bird is we want to make sure that the skin is shiny and smooth. Sometimes you'll find that there is residue on the top. So we're going to wipe it clean. This will allow the oil to stick. We've already washed it on the inside and out. The drying will prepare it for the next step. You'll notice that there's frequently some fat on the inside. There may also be giblets in a packet. This particular chicken doesn't have the giblets, but it does have plenty of lumps of the fat here. So I'm going to remove those. Now some people remove the tail. There are as many different ways of preparing a turkey as there are turkeys, but we want to leave the tail on because we are going to use it to anchor the tail. Another thing we want to look at is especially down on the bottom of the drumsticks. This, you can see that there are some feathers that are still attached. So I'm going to grab those. Sometimes on large turkeys, you'll find large pin feathers, and you actually will need to use a pair of pliers to get those out. You will also sometimes find a little bit of yellow skin that you want to remove if it comes off easily. The next thing we'll do is wipe out the inside of the bird and get it ready to go. The flavor that you add is mostly what is on the inside of the bird because it cooks and puts out a lot of flavor as the rest of the bird is cooking as well. So we want to clean the inside out thoroughly. Then we are going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil in the cavity. I don't want to contaminate my products here. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on my hand. I'm going to rub the top of the bird. The legs and the wings are just as important as the breast is. I'm also going to put some on the inside cavity. That will allow the herbs that I put inside to stay on a little bit more firmly. Now it's time to add our herbs and our seasonings. Inside of the cavity, now everything we put in the cavity we're going to throw away afterwards. The big thing it's going to do is add flavor to the broth that we're going to get from it, and it's also going to add flavor to the bird itself. We are going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. I prefer kosher salt on the inside. And then this is just a little pepper mill, and we could do the same thing there. I'm going to just do it right in my hand, and I can lift it up and sprinkle it inside as well. Okay, now under the skin, some people really prize the skin. It's the crispy coating. If you want a crispy coating, use butter. If you want a soft, chewy coating, you're going to want to use olive oil. I prefer a more chewy coating, golden brown. Here again, I'm still getting a few pieces of feathers and things. That's why it's so important that you wash your bird very thoroughly. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil on the top. Then you'll notice that this skin is loose. The only place that it's really held down is right along the center of the breast. So I'm going to loosen it over the breast. The breast is the one place that you may have problems with it going a little bit dry. I'm going to pull the skin up a little bit more completely here. I'm also going to take some of my herbs. I like my sage to go just right up under the skin here. And I put maybe 3 or 4 on the whole bird, so you're not adding a lot, but you're adding enough that you get the flavor in there, and that flavor is sealed in because of the skin. Now the other herbs I'm going to put inside. I take a whole onion that's been peeled, cut it into quarters, Toss those inside. And those will cook down, add flavor to your broth. I'm also going to take a couple of cloves of garlic. Now I don't need to worry about peeling these well, but I do want to smash them so that the flavor will be released. You can also tuck cloves of garlic right underneath and right underneath the skin, and that works well too. Now I'm going to take some of my herbs, my thyme. These are two different types of thyme, a woody thyme and a regular thyme. I'm going to kind of put those with a little bit of the rosemary, a little bit more of the basil, maybe 3 or 4 leaves. And I'm going to tuck those inside near the top of the breast. As the onions cook, they will cook down, and this will just add flavor through the whole bird. Some other suggestions, you can slice oranges or lemons and put them inside. The flavor from that will make the turkey very, very moist. You can also use other herbs, whichever are your favorite. Now that we've got the turkey stuffed, it's time to truss it. Now you'll notice there's no stuffing inside. The reason why is that it has been found that when you stuff a turkey, the juices from the turkey permeate that dressing, which would add wonderful flavor, but it doesn't reach a temperature adequate to kill the microbes that would be there, so it's recommended that you cook stuffing separately. To truss the bird, that means we're going to put the legs together to seal this opening. Now with a large turkey, sometimes they will have the little plastic, it's kind of a nylon connector. You can just put the legs right back into that and that will work fine, but you want to seal it as well as possible. Now I leave the tail intact. Then I use some cotton thread. This is just some crochet thread, but you can use any cotton thread. You can even use dental floss if you'd like to. The goal here is to harness both the legs and hold them tight, and then I attach it to the tail. So that it holds it tightly shut. With the turkey, sometimes you'll remove the tail or the tail will already be removed. But in that case, there's usually enough skin to be able to seal this shut. So don't cut off the skin. There's a purpose of having the skin. It's time to put it in the pan. I like to use a disposable pan. I also put a rack inside. That makes it easy for the chicken or turkey to come out. Now a little trick that will keep the bird balanced and make it so the browning is very even is you're going to take the wings and put them back behind the breast from above the top. People frequently will twist them the other way, but this way gives it a solid place to stand. This is especially important if you've got a turkey that is in a little bit larger pan. You can see how that just gives it balance and stability, and that will help with the browning. Now the turkey is ready to go in the oven, chicken or turkey. You can season the top as you want to with a little kosher salt, pepper. You can also use other seasonings if you prefer. For baking the bird, the smaller the bird, the higher the temperature you're going to want to use. I'm going to cook this bird, which is about 6.5 pounds, at 425 degrees, and it will be done in 45 minutes to an hour. With a larger bird, historically the directions have been 20 minutes per pound at 325 degrees, but the more recent information shows that you get a more tender bird if you put it in the oven at 425 for about an hour and a half to 2 hours to crisp the top, and then go ahead and drop the temperature, and it will decrease your time by about half, so you can count about 10 minutes per pound. This is a really fun thing that we do for festive holidays, any time of the year. I hope that this helps you know how to stuff and truss a bird.